What if Deku had Lord Zeno's powers? Part 1. Now, I'm going to be shifting Zeno's personality just a tad bit for the sake of the story, but that shouldn't really affect anything. Now, starting this off, Lord Zeno is sitting in his basically type palace type thing as the Grand Priest teleports right next to him and says, Lord Zeno, I've just gotten word you have a younger brother. Supposedly he's in infant state. What should we do with him? As Lord Zeno would then say, dispose of him. He may pose threat to my power. You cannot have such things. As the Grand Priest nods and says, yes, my lord. As he then takes the baby Izuku, who is Lord Zeno's younger brother, and then drops him off at a random planet called Earth. From there, he ends up being picked up by a young woman named Inko, as she just thinks who could leave a nice baby out here to die, as she takes Izuku inside of her house, as Izuku is then nurtured from her all the way up until the age of 4, where they go to the quirk doctor to ask what Izuku's quirk can be. From there, the quirk doctor says that Izuku has no quirk, he's quirkless. It's almost as if it's unreal, because he doesn't have any of those joints that we have, it's just not there. As Inko nods, and if you're wondering what does Izuku look like, he looks like Izuku. I'm not changing his appearance because I don't care. As Izuku would basically just get mad, as in anger he just put up his hand and just wishing the doctor would disappear, and the doctor would disappear. As Inko looks on in shock and says, where'd he go? Why did the doctor just disappear? As Izuku says, huh? He disappeared? Alright, I have powers! I wished he would disappear. That's pretty cool. I wish that thing would disappear. As Izuku points to a painting, and it disappears. As Inko just says, okay. She grabs Izuku's hand and rushes him out of the room. Now, this awakening of Izuku's power would spark the interest of one person, the Grand Priest, who would feel this before Zeno would and mask the presence of Izuku, as he would tell Lord Zeno that he would have to go on some errands, as he would go off and find Izuku. From there, he would end up training Izuku, saying that Izuku needs to basically become stronger than the overlord of the universe. Now, Izuku, a 4-year-old, no clue what that is, just is happy to train and become somebody like All Might. So from there, Izuku trains to fight Lord Zeno. But in order to mask Izuku's presence even more, Grand Priest would tell Izuku that he has to go to basically the UA High to basically just participate in that. As Izuku would say, sure. As he would walk off to take place in the UA entrance exam with the Grand Priest, returning to Lord Zeno after many years. Now, this to Zeno was basically nothing, as Zeno would have lived for thousands of years before this. It wouldn't matter, as Izuku would then basically go to the UA entrance exam, as he'd see all these different robots, as he'd just be explained like the rest of the students by President Mike, as Izuku would walk out to where the doors are as they would open. Now Izuku would instantly run out and be like, so this is what we have to do, just destroy a bunch of robots. As Izuku would create 2 Hakais in his hand, slam them together as he'd just create a beam of like this Hakai energy, as he'd just swipe through the buildings, swipe through all the robots, as Izuku would very easily just avoid using or hitting any of the people around him, as he would easily just destroy all of them, and then he'd just have like this barren wasteland of destruction with the ruins of cities and robots. Well, technically no robots, there's just like cars and roads around and streetlights, as basically all the buildings have been destroyed. As the teachers just look on and like, holy crap, how is he this powerful? And now a very quick ad break and we'll get right back into it. Now that that ad break is over, let's get back into this what if. Now, once again, the teachers were just looking on in shock as they'd rush down to Izuku and be like, how the heck did you learn that power? What type of quirk do you have? How are you so strong? As Izuku would just shake his head and be like, I'm not really sure. I just got strong, I guess, because somebody trained me. Yeah, I've just been training since I was 4 years old. Now, this event would end up being recorded and put back to the local news, as the local news would just be showing this very strong kid absolutely demolish this massive city, like with the snap of his finger. Now, this would cause the League of Villains to basically amp up the production of the Nomus, as they see Zuko as a major threat and possibly stronger than All Might. So they want to build the Nomus up a lot stronger. So they amp up the production of them. Now, we cut to Endeavor saying, Todoroki, I've been training you, why the hell can't you do that? As Todoroki just shakes his head. Now, Izuku would then basically just be accepted into UA right there. They just say, well, I guess you're accepted. We can't really not accept you after you show that much power. As Izuku just says, okay. As he then basically just walks up and back to his house, where he talks to Inko saying that the trials went well and that they accepted him at 2UA. Inko would hug Izuku and say, thank you, Izuku, so much. I can't believe all of this. And now I'd like to tell you, you're adopted. As Suzuki says, oh yeah, I know. I'm the brother of the Universal Emperor or whatever. Yeah. That strange blue guy with white hair told me that. You remember him, right? I brought him over to dinner once. As Inko just looks at him like he's a complete retard and says, what? Huh? As Izuku would end up just waiting 2 weeks, as the 2 weeks would pass, and Izuku would then go to UA, as Aisawa would walk into the classroom and tell them they will be doing some type of test. He points to Izuku and says, we've seen enough from you. We don't want another city incident again. You passed, alright? As Izuku just says, cool. As the rest of the students walk down there, as they basically do all the tests, Bakugo would end up getting first place. And if you're wondering, Bakugo, Izuku would just beat him up every time he tried to bully someone because Izuku is nice. And Izuku would just be walking in this, or just watching the sidelines, as some people would ask Aisawa why isn't he participating. As Aisawa just shakes his head and says, did you see the event on the news that happened just 2 weeks ago? Where somebody destroyed the entire city? As they say, oh yeah, who was that? I couldn't get a good glimpse of them. As Aisawa just points to Izuku, he's like, yeah, that's him. As Izuku just waves his hand, as they're like, wait, that's him? What? How's he that strong? As Aisawa just, raises his shoulders, he doesn't know. As they just wonder what could have made this kid so flippin' strong. It's just unreal. As they'd all go back home, with many of the kids running up to Izuku and asking him how he got so strong. Izuku would just answer that he was trained by somebody and walk away. And that's where I'm gonna leave this off, guys. So sorry this video is so short. I need time to think on what I'm gonna do with this what if. I'm going to basically spend all night thinking, what should I do with this what if? And I'm gonna come right back, most likely a 30-minute video tomorrow. 30-minute video tomorrow, so make sure you guys go subscribe so you don't miss that. And also subscribe to Lord Duck, as I'm starting to stream on Lord Duck now. So go subscribe to that. So I thank you all for watching once again, and goodbye.